Hello. So today's topic is filth, or turning filth into fertilizer. And hopefully you're intelligent enough to understand where I'm going with that. The whole idea is taking a crap in your life and actually using it to make something good with it. The first time I thought about that idea was when I started talking to my wife on the phone. And I don't know if you guys, some of you might know this, but I met my wife through a CC'd email. I replied all. My wife replied back to what I said. We started replying to each other. We started talking on the phone for 6 months. One day we decided to meet. Been together ever since. The end. Or not the end, but we're still going forward. But the email that I was on originally was about relationships and them breaking up, and I was going through a breakup, and my wife was going through a breakup. And I responded back saying, we all make the pain of a relationship falling apart make it take a lot longer than it has to, because we could just what I did is I just let myself feel all the pain, just laid down on the ground. I was like, "Ugh." And then about 6, 7, 8 days, whatever, I got back up and said, all right, time to get back into life. I didn't feel like stretching it out by hanging out with a bunch of people and talking about it and all this other stuff. I just wanted to get it over with, and then once I got it over with, the pain and stuff, I just wanted to move forward. And I said to her, or to the email when I responded back, I said, well, when life hands you S, you can either sit around and stink, or you can use it to grow something. I'm choosing to let it help me to grow. And that didn't go over too well with other females, but my wife responded back saying that was a cool way of looking at it. So that partly says something about why we're together. Prior to her, I was not the most romantic person in the world, not because I had something against romance, but primarily because I knew it was almost all BS. And I know that some people don't want to hear that, but if you think about the disappointments that most people feel in their relationships, it's because they tell themselves a story about what the relationship is supposed to be, and that relationship story usually is that some knight or queen or whatever in shining armor or whatever it is that you're looking for is going to make up for all the relationships in your life prior to them that jacked you up. Like all your relationships with your family, your friends, your exes jacked you up. But then you take a risk, you get with somebody else believing that that person is going to make up for all of it. And you convince yourself so thoroughly that even when the relationship is still going through the junk and it's not necessarily lining up, you'll lie to yourself so that you continue to be in a relationship. And then when you finally perhaps realize, you know what, I'm lying to myself, you don't say, well, hold on, what can I change about myself, or what can I learn from this situation? Most people say, I must have picked the wrong person, and then they look for a new person. And then when they try to find this new person that's going to make up for what the last person hurt them for, it just keeps going on and on. Until finally, maybe the people get mature enough to work on a relationship together, try to be conscious in the relationship or something like that. But what most people do is they just say, forget it, I'm just going to be with this person and really, let my life just not be awesome. And hopefully we'll go on some vacation sometimes and take a bunch of pictures and try to be happy as much as possible till we die. But they don't try to make their relationships help them to grow. So I read these 2 books that are mentioned in the blog post, one by Harville Hendrix, which was called Getting the Love You Want, and the other by Iyanla Vanzant, which was called Peace from Broken Pieces. I do not recommend those books as a combo pack, but individually, I recommend those books. They both were great about just showing how we can't expect relationships to be the thing to fulfill us. I mean, we can heal and grow and learn through relationships, but the relationships cannot be responsible for our wholeness. And I remember when I was a kid, I studied the Bible, and it said, don't call any earthly person your father. You got one father, and that's God in heaven. That was a jewel for me because my dad didn't live with me, just like most of the dads in my neighborhood didn't live with them. And that can mess a kid up. I'm going to tell you right now, not having your dad in the house can mess you up. However, if you have some strong figures, or if you have the faith to believe that you are a whole person, or you're coming into your wholeness, then there's hope. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, they have this. You can mix like not having the parental situation that may have been ideal with this romantic idea, and it's a terrible recipe for life. Because what ends up happening is you say, okay, well, this is what I was supposed to have. You know, parents in the house, middle class, whatever. Don't have that. Okay, well, this is what I got. So if you didn't get what you think you're supposed to have, you came into the world lacking, from that mindset. And it's like, well, do you even deserve it? And then from that perpetuates low self-esteem, blah, 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 all these things. And then you get all these people hurting and pain, feeling empty, torn up, less than whole, looking for relationships with other people that are going to make them whole when those people are feeling the same way. It's terrible. And all I can say is it is the status of most of the relationships that I know about in this world, or in this country at least. And when you look at Hollywood and all the stuff that they put out, no offense, it just is more of the same thing. So it's like, well, what can we do? Well, I'm saying we can take this filth and turn it into fertilizer. We can look at this situation, call it out as it is. It is crap. But there's some good use for crap. There's actually a whole documentary on the use of fecal matter. Check it out. But at any rate, I'm suggesting that if you find yourself in a situation that is less than ideal, don't try to pretend that it's something that it's not. And also, don't wish that it was something that it was not. See it for what it is, and then try to do something about it. It might be uncomfortable at first. It might hurt. You might feel terrible because you might have to take responsibility and look back and realize how you played into it. Or, there was some point in time when you could have taken responsibility for your consciousness and didn't do it. I know I have those points. But then you got to just feel the pain and just go through it and hopefully make something better out of it. And then, as Yana was talking about, make it so that your children don't have to go through it. And then hopefully the next generation won't have to go through it. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Whenever something comes up inside of me, I'm trying feverishly to clear myself from it because I don't want my daughter to have to go through it. I don't want my grandkids to have to go through the things that may be working themselves out in me. And so I'm putting that out there. If you find yourself in a filthy situation, there is hope. Use it to fertilize something better. And hopefully posts like this and other things that are out there will help facilitate that process. In the meantime, I love you. I actually mean that. And let's all get better. See ya.